before we get into this evening's live, let's go over a few things that are taking place here while we allow everybody to come in that wants to watch this, allow YouTube to push this out. As you all know, there's a lot of issues for whatever reason with YouTube as of late. I know they're trying to push out their vertical stuff, but you know, it is what it is. So we just kind of fight through it and then try to make this work. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We see XRP's falling back below $1.80. And this could bring us into a very tricky scenario here. I also don't know how it's going to look if it's vertical, horizontal, because I had to probably restart this, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. So I guess I'm hoping for the best without actually knowing how it's going to look. So I have to wait for it to allow me to even look at my own because that's just how YouTube is. But I mean, I feel like it looks pretty good. Okay, good. I can at least put this in full screen on here. Perfect. So now that I know that's working, and I know at least some of you have found your way in here, so I at least know that it's pushing out now. Let's get into this. So before I get into this evening's live, I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I see Joseph, UK Phil, Crypto, Cooter, Kenny G, Aaron R, Crazy Paul, Trial, all in Tom's Army. So I want to thank all of you, Trial by Fire, Kryptonian, James Dula, Kenny, Marco, every single one of the names that I mentioned are all in Tom's Army, which is a blessing. Jose, welcome in, my brother, has been in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. That's excellent. What's going on, my friend? I'm glad to see you in here. Zach, good evening from South Africa. John, welcome in. Ken, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army along with Frankie. I really appreciate everybody who's in Tom's Army. You really helped me do what I do and allow me to keep this the way I like to. I don't like to charge for any kind of my information because I don't know, it doesn't seem right. So I do appreciate everybody who pays it forward so that I can continue to do this the way I see fit without any kind of like advertising and that kind of junk. But obviously what we need to talk about is the fact XRP is sitting here at $1.79. Every single thing on my list except for one is red. Beam is not technically on my list. I put it there because somebody else asked me about it. Okay, 2 are technically not red. MXC is as well in the green. But DGB is up about 1.5%. But the rest of the market's getting punched around a little bit. Bitcoin reversed all the way back down, and it's down 2,665 points, or better than 3.3% on the day. Sitting under 77K now at 76,471. XRP fell below, in my opinion, the most critical support of them all. And it fell below that $1.82. And now that opens up the door to the first layer is going to be somewhere around $1.70, that pivot point. And then you're going to have this middle ground that'll be about $1.63, 64. And then ultimately down. And if it does it around here, it's going to be around that $1.38 probably. But the FEG is at $1.38 or $1.50. But I fear that this is probably going to take that out and come down to $1.38 since that's the closest support to the FEG. I always try to find the nearest support to that fair value gap, especially for some kind of breakdown. And this is the closest one to me if we're going to have a breakdown. It could come all the way down to that $1.38. Kenny, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News and also the $5 donation. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that super chat as well as being in Tom's Army. That's a blessing, I must say. So we've got that we look at for XRP and understand that this is taking the stairs down right now, and it's unfortunately rounded the shoulder, and now that right arm is dropping. I see a lot of you, some are asking if they should buy XRP. Like me personally, I wouldn't be buying shit right here. No offense to anybody, because if you're buying it, you know, obviously it's $1.78, not $3.40. But remember, it's $1.78, not 35 cents as well. So you can play devil's advocate both ways. But when it broke down from here, now the best case scenario, since we got rejected at that $2, $1.98 level, that's the prototypical bearish rejection for another leg down. And like, This is, I can't say it any differently because we haven't been able to break out of this rhythm. Ready? Elevator up, take the stairs down. I mean, is this anything other than taking the stairs down right now? I don't think so. I don't think so. But now that's why I said when it came down to $1.62 or $1.61 that it was wasted. Because in one way or another, we're gonna have to take out that fair value gap, even if we're bullish. And that's at $1.50. So no matter what, we have to take that out. Like, that's just something I feel stronger about. Yep, newer lows with lower highs, bad news. That's right. That's the taking the stairs down formation, in my opinion. Yeah, Filecoin was at a few $100s back in 21. I know that for a fact because my cousin Chris was in it, and that's when I was trying to get him to buy XRP, and he finally did. And he made bank on Filecoin. But I mean, he made some bank because he didn't sell it when I told him to. And he kind of wrote it down 50% like most people. But yeah, he couldn't. But yeah, it was way up there. But now this looks like a bona fide head and shoulders, folks. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Now that this shoulder's turned down and now the arm is, we're in some trouble. Like, I'm not going to mince. We're in some trouble. DGB, it's weird. Because with the way the market's moving, you would suspect it's probably just going to come down. It's obviously faring better than most. And it's kind of holding on here a little bit. But I suppose money has to find an avenue somewhere at all times. So DGB is just kind of in a different kind of position. It's been undervalued. And it's teasing these multiple breakouts. Like, I wouldn't look to sell DGB. And in all honesty, I would look to get deeper. Depending on, you know, what your objective is here. Like, I have over 1.6 million DGB. So, like, it goes down to 0.005, 0.003. I mean, it is what it is. You know, maybe I'll have 3.5 million DGB if that happens. Jose, thank you so much for not only being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Holy smugolies. But also the $9.99 donation, and always in the comments typing watch, recycle, repeat, which I would say yes. Watch the content, recycle to friends and family, and repeat by coming back and watching the next update and or live. It's a beautiful thing. We have a beautiful audience here. We really do. And I think unlike most communities, I think we thrive when it's bearish. We're going to talk about Hidden Road. I just didn't want to put that in the title. I wanted to focus more on the pricing. But remember, good news is always hidden in bearish times, I feel like. I always feel like they hide good news. So they did buy Hidden Road. That's not a joke. I believe it was for like no, it was more than that. It was over $1 billion. I can't remember the exact. I want to say 1.4, but I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a pretty hefty purchase. Keith, welcome in. James, Jorge, Oliver, Kenny. Thank you all. 1.2, 1.3 billion. So we're close. We're all on the same page. I think I said 1.4 initially. So it's definitely something. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting that they would put that amount. And we'll read into that. We'll definitely read into that. But I don't know, man. You know what's crazy about this? We know in our hearts of hearts that crypto's not done yet for one reason. And we can say whatever we want. And, you know, I could be the bearish Tom. I could tell you how, this and that and all these reasons why it's going to go down like we've been, and it has. And all the reasons why maybe it could reverse, which we've tried, but it hasn't worked out. But I think today I'm going to take it in a different direction. Yes, it's bearish. Yes, we could act like our heads are falling off, which they're really not. We can, we can beat our head through the wall. We can say crypto's trash. We can say it's over. We can get real depressed. We can get down on ourselves, or we can look for the non-variables, or we can look for the reality. The reality is in the USA, there's one reason they're doing the tariffs, and there's only one reason they're doing it. They want to cut rates. They want to do quantitative easing and not tightening. So with those two things alone, crypto is going to flip bullish at some point this summer, especially. So to me, Yes, I wasn't bullish on the section before this. But this drop down we're having now into the next, wherever we end up, that is, remember when I said yesterday, I would be stunned if the stock market, even after a reversal, doesn't fall down one more leg, because it's that next leg down that nobody would expect. And that's the one that would get him to do an emergency meeting. That's the one, assume it has a similar drop that it just had, right? This comes down, drops all the way down to like 32, I put there for a reason. Because that could create some kind of head. It comes back here. Maybe you come down to this next section. But I don't know, because you've got, this is something that I don't know why I was like that, but this is something that's intriguing to me right here. Because even if you don't break down, maybe the next leg down would just be to come back into what looks like a little extended channel that broke out of. Yes, and this is my chart where I sing sunny days. That's why it looks so weird. But I think that next leg down is when they would get excited. So that's what I think. That's what I think. So I'm not looking at this like the market's over. I'm not looking at it like that at all. Gold and silver and mining stocks, oh yeah, they got hammered. They got hammered. And that's a different avenue. And eventually that'll reverse on its own as well. But like the 10-year yield was up 9 basis points in one day. That's a pretty hefty move up to 4.29 now, up 2.09%. That's a huge move in one day on the 10-year. But I do believe if we start looking at crypto like that, we shouldn't be so super bearish. The only reason I was even bearish is the zone it was in. Because I knew Bitcoin had to at least come down to 74. But I'm thinking even 64 is likely what's going to happen. But I knew 74. So that drop from 74 to 64, or anywhere close to it, is the spot where it would be more likely to be, buying and then buying the dip, to kind of convert your average depending on your goals. Same thing with XRP. I didn't like it at $2.40. I didn't like it at $2. Hell, I didn't even like it at $1.85. I said yesterday I wasn't buying here even when it went up. Now, presented with the opportunity, if it's going to hold that gap, let's say it gets to $1.38. I'm still not buying it. My XRP was bought at 34 cents and 38. There's no damn way I'm going to raise my average like that, especially because I had bought twice as much. You guys know the story. If you're new, I have a little thing. I like to buy twice as much. So my goal was 10,000. I ended up with 20,000 plus. And then when we got over $3, I was able to sell half of it because I only wanted to have the 10,000 to begin with, a little over 10,000. That was just the goal. What we started in the community. So I just did another 10,000 when I could. When it came back down to 38 cents and gave us that deal of a lifetime mid last year, I bought another 10,000. And I did exactly, I talked about it, and I did it through the XRP Bitcoin pairing, if some of you know. I bought $5,000 worth, which was well over another 10,000. Sold out everything but the additional 10,000 when we ended up, I don't even know how much it went up, but the Bitcoin pairing went up. It went up a decent amount. And then once it got over to where I needed to, I told everybody in December, late December, that I had, or early January, late December, somewhere in that time frame. It was during the bounce when it went back up to 340, but I was somewhere around 313, I believe it was. And then a similar across. But that's just a strategy that I've adopted, and I learned it in mining stocks. Because I used to buy mining stocks, and then when it would get up like 400, 500, 600%, I'd want to sell it out, and then I would sometimes. And sometimes I'd be like, man, I don't even want to really sell up, but I'm up so much. So then I started to buy twice as much, obviously, if you can afford it. Like, even now, I can't swing 10,000 XRP for 18 grand. I could do it for 3,500. And then, a year later, when it gave us the chance at 38, I could do another, but it's not now. We're not talking about that now. So that's just something that I've adopted, a strategy like that, because then when you want to take profit, you've still got your actual bag. So that's why when people say, Tom, do you hold XRP? Yes, exactly what I did when we started. It's just I don't hold that spare shuffle bag now that had the other 10,000 in it. But no, that's something that I was trying to, that's something that I adopted this bull cycle. I didn't do that the last one. So I kind of had my hand, it was an all or nothing there. But like I said, I don't own many things right now. The only thing I really own right now is XRP, DGB, Algo, and XRP Healthcare. I don't think I own another thing right now as I've watched this come down. Like I liquidated fully, but I kept a few things that I wanted. Bye, Michaela. Bye, Scarar. So, unfortunately, like for me, the only reason I still hold DGB is because I feel like it's still on a bullish side. It's so weird. And no, I have faith in MXC. It's just from where I sold it, it's come down substantial, like 50% or something. It's been a substantial come down. But no, it's so I have a lot of faith in this market. I think that's what's being misunderstood. I know a lot of you were here when I started talking about when Powell came on and he finally used the term, and they use it in the news setting as well on Bloomberg, where he said, you know, that we're gonna have to cool it, taper it off a bit and go back to quantitative. He said QT. And when he said that, I looked at everybody and said, it's not today. There will probably be some big drops, a lot of pain short term. But at some point here, this is going to flip back bullish. And, you know, we have to go through the pain. And it doesn't mean that we have to go all the way to $1.50. Because if XRP can somehow manage here in the next hour and 2 minutes to just stay above. And right now it's pretty close. And we'd have to get back above about $1.82 to be fair. We could still close on the top side of this and just have a daily wick. That's the thing. We've done it before. We did it yesterday. But today it's a little bit farther down. Who, me? Out of ZBAC, I did that a long time ago. When ZBAC went up to that 0, 0, 0, what was it at? I talked about that so point blank. But obviously you'd have to be here every day. So my prediction was either it did this and then it would come through, or it would have to come all the way back down here and retest this at best. So when it got rejected at 0020 and we bought it at 00078, wrote it up to 00. I don't think it was 2. I think it was 19 something. Either way, it was a great sale. Wrote it back down, and I said I would be interested maybe when it back tested this, but because of market dynamics, I never did. And yeah, it's at that spot where I thought it would be a good chance. So like a lot of the market's back testing some of these higher moves. I didn't say ZBCI doesn't have massive use cases. It's just it wasn't in my wheelhouse. That's all. I don't judge anybody for owning it. I just wasn't going to ride it back down the entirety of what I bought it for. You know, I wanted to take advantage of that 150% move. You know, that made me $4 or $5 grand pretty damn quick. And that was a big movement. That was a big moment. Because the market wasn't doing so great. And that just shot my portfolio up with like 4 or 5,000. And it was a blessing because everything else was getting slaughtered for the most part. But good evening. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire with the side bet on XLM and Future Digibyte OG, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, oh yeah, and ROAS, just like you, a lot of my DGB getting up to over 1.6 million. I bought a fair amount after I, you know, with the ZBC on profit. So if some of that 1.6 million plus is because of that. So I don't want to say that I'm balls deep in DGB, but yeah. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. If I'm going down swinging, I know my baby, I'll go down fighting. And I really think that it's very undervalued. There's a lot of things that are happening. It's tech. It's, oh my God, it's.
Thomas isn't low.
Do I think XRP will fall below $1? I give it about a 60% chance that it probably won't, but a 40% chance that it will. So that's a lot of percentage chance that it could go back. And I only base it so high because we do have a gap at 93 or 92. We've got gaps at 50-something cent mark. We've got a gap all the way down at 8 or 6 cents. So yeah, it could happen. And depending on the way they're going to take this, it might. But I also go back to something Brad Garlinghouse said not too long ago. Retail, we don't want them in it. And he basically said, let's face it, soon it's going to price them out anyhow. They won't be able to afford it. So I look at it this way. The last time we dropped back down into a bear market like we are now, because everything's in a bear market now. I don't care what anybody says. Even Bitcoin is in a bear market. It's down 30+% from the top. That's a bear market. Once you get to 20%, when you get over 30, you can't even argue it. The rest of the market's down like 50, 60, 70, 80%, some 90%. We're in a bear market. So the last time we were in a bear market, XRP wasn't at $1.79, was it? Oh no. XRP was at 35, 50, 70, 65, 40, 90, 80, 61, 46, 35, 28, 90, right? Now we're at $1.75, $1.61, 240, 225, $1.98, 210, $2. Now it's 79. So for us to buy 10,000 tokens in the last bear market, it was 2,800, 3,500, 3,400, 6,000, 7,000, up to 9,000, 5,000, 6,000, 2,800, or yeah, 2,800, 3,400, 4 grand, 5 grand, 3 grand, 3,500, 3,700, big boost up to 9 grand, 7,200. You see what I'm saying? Now it's 18,000, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, 14, or the best we had was 16,000 on 10,000 shares or tokens. That's the retail being priced out. How many of you could buy 10,000 tokens right now comfortably at 18 grand? Or versus how many of you could buy comfortably like I could 10,000 tokens at 3,500? And it wasn't even that it's comfortable, but it was I could manage it. Now it's like I would have to sell my left nut just to be able to buy 10,000 tokens and get an artificial one put in. You know, and that's it. It's a big difference for retail, but that's no reason to give up. It just means there's got to be opportunity elsewhere as well. There's got to be. If XRP came up from 28 cents and it's sitting at $1.80 and something else like, I don't know, ZIL was sitting at 15, and then in the bear market it was sitting at 1.3 cents and now it's at 0.009, might be a spot to look. Fee chain's below its bear market levels as well, might be a spot to look. DGB still under a penny. And it's actually holding on very well in this cycle. Might be something to think about. But at the same time, another thing to be thinking about is what happens to all of these if Bitcoin goes to 64. What happens if Bitcoin goes to 64? And like, I want everybody to pay attention, because if you're not set up on an exchange, or if you're paying too many fees, like the only reason I have crypto.com is for DGB. That's it. If I didn't have to, I would not have any reason to use it, but I need it for DGB. But for everything else that I can buy, hell, even Axelar is on where I'm about to talk about, BITUNIX, I can actually swing trade if I want to leverage trade. I can buy and sell. I can even be very pessimistic and then very positive at the same time. I can be sporadic because at the end of the day, I'm not getting hit with the heavy fees. So if I want to swing trade, or if I buy something and I have to sell it because I made a bad mistake, I can do that. If I do that on crypto, I can't do that on crypto.com. Let's say I bought DGB at a bad spot. I can't just sell it unless I know there's going to be a 10 to 15% drop. Or I can't just sell it after a 3% gain and take those chump change because there's a bigger selling fee on there. Now on on BITUNIX, I could. So, and there's no VPN or KYC. I don't know. I push it because I see all of the fees that I lose on even crypto.com. It pisses me off. LBank, yes. The only problem, well, I guess LBank to an extent. The only problem between LBank compared to like BITUNIX, there's a lot more volatility in pricing. A lot more volatility in pricing on LBank. Oh, yeah, LBank. Oh, wait a minute. LBank for DGB, I didn't even think about that. No, I would never use Uphold. I'd rather stick my nuts into a vice grip. I've talked about why on Uphold. They still have Julie's 1,000 XRP. They still have not released her that she had at 32 cents, and now it's worth, $1,800. I was able to take out a lot of them, but the only thing they wouldn't let me take out was their last 1,000, and they've still held it for over a year and about 17 months. They won't do anything. So I'd rather squeeze my nuts, you know, into like the size of a token, as flat as a fucking penny, than use that shit show. And for anybody who says it hasn't happened to you yet, it hasn't happened yet. That's the key word. So, you know, and somebody warned me years ago, and that's why I started getting out. And right when and it's amazing, once you make profit, most of the people tell me that they don't have problems. They never made a profit. Come talk to me when you make serious profit on Uphold, and then tell me what happens. And it's not going to be everybody, and it won't be right away. And then another thing is, it's just not about making profit. Let me know how long it takes after you make profit when you start taking out some serious money, 5 and 6 figures, and let me know how long it takes for them to freeze your account. Hard couple of days to find. Well, I'm glad you're in here, my friend. Stop yelling at you. I'm not sure who's yelling at you, but maybe you guys are talking to each other. I ain't got the best eyesight anyhow, so I'll blame that. Can you send? Yeah, why not? You can send if you can send it to a wallet, you can send it off of BITUNIX. Yeah, absolutely you can. If I'm being honest, I send stuff off of BITUNIX all the time. I've sent it to my XRP healthcare wallet, not XRPH, but XRP. I've sent XRP from BITUNIX over to Zaman. I've done a lot. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that, love. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years at the XP589 Moon Badge. I have a buddy who lost a nut. Oh, look, and now we're getting into the nut slammers. I have a buddy lost a nut when we were jumping barbed wire. Ooh, running from the cops. I didn't know if I should run or stay. Did his nut fall out? I mean, I've heard this before. I actually was watching something when this happened. I can't remember what it was. And the guy's, yeah. No, BITUNIX is absolutely available in the USA. I live in the USA. That's the best part about it. There's no VPN or KYC, and you can use it in the USA. And, nope, that's the one bad thing about it. They don't have DGB. That's the only reason I use Crypto.com. See? Hear me, everybody. Don't just see me. Hear what I'm saying. And in New York, you're not going to be able to use it for some reason. A lot of exchanges you can't use in New York. I don't know why. I don't live in New York. I'm glad, you know. If I wanted to smell piss walking down the street, I just piss on the side of my house every day in the heating sun if I wanted to smell that all day. No offense to my New Yorker friends. But it smells bad enough here when we get close to Detroit, so I know exactly what you're living by. So don't, you know, you don't have to try to hide it. If I walk in Detroit, it's the same way, 25 minutes from my house, so you don't know what you're walking into. Trey runs wild. How awesome is that? I paid $300 on one trade. Oh, dude, that's the thing. Like, that's the problem. That's my same issue on Crypto.com with DGB. Because I know for a fact, let's just say DGB runs up, and let's just say it goes to 10 cents and it makes me 160 grand. I know for a fact I'm going to have to pay like 3,000 to 5,000, maybe more, of my own money when I sell it. That's the bitch part. You know, so I don't remember if it's got an app. There is an app for BITUNIX. I can't remember. Let me look at my Play Store, because they do take it away sometimes. And then you got to download the app on the actual website, but it's still from Google Play. Like, I have the Google Play Store. Let me see if what it makes you do right now. Because I can't remember if it was BITUNIX, but I do remember one of them recently. Yeah, yep, BITUNIX, it's not in the App Store, so you have to go online and type in BITUNIX download. Oh, here, you know what? What the fuck am I doing that for? I'll just show you. I'm looking at my phone. So if you want to do it on here, you're going to have to go BITUNIX app. And then you have to download BITUNIX. But we have to find the one for Google Play, so you just go into here and see where it says Android APK. Just hit Android APK, then you would download it, and then you would just open it. That's all you have to do. Same thing for the App Store as well if it's not on there. But You have to do Android APK because they don't have it in the Google Play Store right now. It's simple. Very simple. I did it when I re-updated on this computer. It's not hard. It's simple. I encourage it, honestly. I encourage it. Yeah, I'm glad somebody brought up Theta. Because there's two of them that I'm watching, Theta and Filecoin. And I've been begging it to come lower. And look what's starting to happen with Theta. Theta's come down below 70 cents. It's absolutely doing what I'm begging it to do. You're right about that, Kenny. China owns 80% of it. You're not wrong. China owns a lot more of this country than we want to admit to. Theta, it's astounding where it's like, it is astounding how far it's come down. I can't believe it. Like in my wildest dreams, I don't know if I could have ever thought Theta would come down this far. I mean, I did have a target down. I drew it out, but now it's come down below where I thought it could come. Oh, yeah, big double top there for sure. Boom, boom. Failed. Now it has to reset. It's basically at the pattern reset zone, though. The actual uptrend of this, it's pretty crazy when you look at this. I love doing this kind of stuff, and it's hard to see. I get it. But I love going back to the all-time trend, especially when it becomes relevant. And this is going to be a difficult one, so you're going to have to bear with me for a sec. Because technically you went from there, consolidated back, at least if we're using this chart. And then you started to consolidate like that. You bounced through a couple of times, but the bottom line is you use that as a springboard point. So, I mean, if you want to talk about what could the worst case scenario be, is it possible to see a 15-cent Theta? If we get 15-cent Theta, I'm going to be, holy smokes. But the other thing that it tells me is, like, we're looking for some of these crazy low numbers. What does that mean for crypto if something like Theta's at 15 cents? Like, I don't want to say it, but, like, back in 2021, Theta was dominating, folks. Like, Theta was up at $15.90. Imagine you bought, and I'm not saying the scenario would ever play out. Imagine it was at 20 cents. And then Theta came all the way back at some point and retested its all-time highs. You want to talk about some serious fucking money. That's how you make some serious money if you get stuff like that. Like, that's... And then I believe Filecoin's at all-time lows. Somebody said, when was the last time Filecoin was here? Never. I believe the answer is never. I think it broke its all-time low. Yeah, oh yeah, it did. Because the last time it was back here would be in 2020. It did it in 19 and 18 before big run-ups as well. But, I mean, never. Never. Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever get back up here again. It made it up to $235. Imagine, remember how everybody says just hold and it'll work out? What if somebody said that here, and now they're legitimately sitting at down 99%? Like, you know. So, be careful when you have that mentality, I'm just going to hold forever and it'll eventually work out. That's not exactly how it works. I don't have Filecoin either right now, but yeah, it feels like it's going to drop more. Filecoin and Theta both kind of feel like they're going to drop more. Like, I have this drawn out if it wants to drop more. IoT. Theta and Filecoin are not ISO, they're IoT, Internet of Things. So that's the technical target that I have on the farther drop. Now, technically, if it just uses like the pattern setup, and one could argue that it's a falling channel that's starting as well. $1.57 is what the first target would be. Maximum target 35 cents. I find that hard to believe. But I mean, if it comes down there, there is zero question that I'm buying 10,000 tokens of this. And Theta, if it comes down to where it's going, I don't know how many I would buy if it goes down to 15 cents, if I'm being honest. But it makes you wonder what's really going on here. Okay. Is he looking like he's... Oh, yeah, just give him that. He's going to fall asleep early tonight, I feel like. Did you know I've already been on this for 35 minutes?
Really?
Yeah. That's crazy indeed. Oh, yeah, ICP. It's another one to definitely pay attention to as it goes. Man, it's just it is pretty insane seeing some of these numbers. I'll be honest. I think mining stocks are going to cut down again. I do. I think these are all resetting because I think the best way and the easiest way for them to cut rates is to let this happen. Yeah, algo's down 7.8%. But remember, algo, it technically can come all the way down to 11.8 cents. And if it loses that, I mean, it's back to resetville. Well, that's right around 10 cents. It is what it is. VELO is getting shit showed as well. Down below a penny. I know, remember when I sold VELO around 2 cents and I said, I fear that it's going to come back to my buy-in at 0.09. And I didn't sell it at 4.5. It was after it started rotating down to that 2 point something. I just was like, I don't want to ride it all the way back down. And that's what happened. So, like, we are in bear markets. The only reason why people don't think we're in a bear market right now is two prices. One for XRP, two for Bitcoin. That's it. People see XRP at $1.78 and they're like, we're not in a bear market. And Bitcoin at 74, 76, we're not in a bear market, but in fact we are. We are. I mean, everybody remember my stuff about quant not too long ago, well, for a long time, where I was like, I won't buy quant unless it comes to X amount because I think it's too overvalued. Now look where we're at. My X amount was $45.30. I think everybody remembers that. I don't even know if I could buy it at $45 right now. That's the problem. This don't look too healthy. When is X? Who knows? $5 was never a guarantee. The only guaranteed part of this pattern we hit and then we overshot it a little bit. Now, if we were able to do a full wave 5, well, yeah, then we could go up to 549. And if we were to fill off this pattern 100%, oh, yeah, we could have went to 549 after a descending, what do you want to call it? A descending consolidation since 2018 in January, all the way up until approximately November of 2025. The technical target was, if everything went right, $5.49. But that was only if it went 100% right. What we were hoping for was to retest the 2021 high. And then we wanted to fall back to like $1.35. It never happened. Once we retested the 2021 high, we powered through it too quickly. And that's why we left some gaps. One that's pretty clear at $1.50. I argue at $1.38 there's something going on there. Even though we kind of dicked around in that area for a split second, but I still argue there's something going around in that area. That might be, maybe it's a supply zone or something like that, but I still think there's some kind of gap that was held there and some kind of promise there because there's volume that would occur there. And there's people that would buy in that area. I'm still kind of surprised DGB is actually up 1%. This either means one of two things. One, the market's going to reverse after 8 o'clock. Two, DGB is going to come down about 10 to 15% the next flip. And there's no in between. So we'll see what happens there. But while I'm still here, I want to make sure to read this. And I do thank everybody for tuning in. And pay attention to that pinned comment that I put in the comments below. Because, you don't want to overpay. You don't want to overpay for your stuff. Honestly. I don't know what tokens you have, but they have a lot of tokens there. I mean, you're not going to be, I'm assuming you won't be able to move everything. That's probably not going to happen. I do use the XRP healthcare wallet, and I staked in the past, but I can't stake anymore. No, the app's not on the Play Store. You have to go and do it the way I showed. Unfortunately. I don't know why. It's supposed to come back to the App Store, but it went away for some reason. The Google Play Store gets rid of a lot of stuff, which sucks. But, I mean, I can't tell you what to move over there, James. I just know when I'm buying and selling, even if I don't have something on there, as long as it allows me to send it there, I do the trade there. And then if I want to send USDT or something back, I will, or USD, but I don't like to sell off of different exchanges if I don't have to. I do all of my selling on BITUNIX aside from DGB right now, if I have to do it, because I can't send it there. It's a way that I've alleviated some fees, like seriously. 3 likes? No, we got 74 right now. 74 out of 152 people watching, but you know, this is boring stuff we're talking about today. We're not talking about a rising market. We're not talking about a lot of different things. We're just in all intents and purposes, like, this is boring to a lot of people. I understand that. I understand that. I want to get one of the newer ones. Let's see, we got 6 hours ago. That's fine. Oh, right here, 2 hours ago. Perfect. You thought the live ended? Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you know, I do get shadow banned a lot, so it doesn't always show how many people have actually hit the like button, unfortunately. Yeah, I know a lot of people are not very happy. Believe me. I do. I get it. I've been doing this for over 4 years without a day off. You know, if anybody has a reason to be frustrated and understanding, it's me. So let's see. Ripple acquisition of Hidden Road, a defining moment for the XRP ledger. Ripple CTO. So we're going to read a couple different angles here while we're together. So following the acquisition, the XRP ledger could become a major venue for tokenized real-world assets, said David Schwartz. Ripple's $1.25 billion acquisition of prime broker Hidden Road is a defining moment for the blockchain payments company, potentially unlocking more use cases for the XRP ledger among institutions, said David Schwartz, Ripple's chief technology officer. Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road is a defining moment for the XRP ledger and XRP, Schwartz said on social media on April 8th. Hidden Road is a prime brokerage and credit network with more than 300 institutional customers. On a typical day, it clears more than $10 billion and processes more than 50 million transactions across traditional rails. Now imagine, even a portion of that activity on the XRP ledger, and that's exactly what Hidden Road plans on doing. Not to mention, hold on, I'm trying to find something. My desk slid away from me, unfortunately, which is kind of funny. My desk is sliding away from me. Oh, yeah. There we go. Sorry about that. My desk decided to fly away. So Ripple's acquisition. Hold on. Let me make sure Julie's doing good with my son's feeding, and then I'm gonna finish reading this. Julie? Sorry. All right, sorry about that, everybody. I really apologize. For some of you who don't know, I do have a special needs son, and he's got a G tube in his like stomach, so he gets 3 feedings a day through that. He still eats some by mouth, but yeah, it's its own little thing. So anyhow, so Hidden Road is defining moment for blockchain, yada yada yada. Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road is defining moment. Hidden Road is a prime brokerage and credit network with more than 300 institutional customers on a typical day. It clears more than 10 billion and processes more than 50 million transactions across traditional rails. Now imagine even a portion of that activity on the XRP ledger, and that's exactly what Hidden Road plans on doing. Not to mention future use of collateral and real-world asset tokens on the XRP ledger, said Schwartz. So Ripple's official announcement. Today, Ripple announced it is acquiring, or on the Ripple X account, Today, Ripple announced it has acquired Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, becoming the first crypto company to own and operate a global multi-asset prime broker. Together, Ripple and Hidden Road are bringing the promise of digital assets to institutional customers at scale, bridging traditional finance and decentralized finance in ways never seen before. So Ripple has long touted the XRP ledger as a scalable platform for real-world assets, RWAs, having partnered with crypto exchanges ArcX to launch a tokenized money market fund in November. Whew. That's pretty cool. However, until now, tokenization on the XRP ledger has been minimal. Industry data tracks only 2 RWAs on the XRP ledger valued at roughly $50 million. The real-world asset market continues to scale. The value of on-chain RWAs has grown by 9.2% over the past 30 days, bucking a general downtrend in the cryptocurrency market tied to global growth fears and tighter financial conditions. Over that period, the number of asset holders increased by 6.2% according to RWA.xyz. Analysts across the traditional finance industry expect tokenized RWAs to become a multi-trillion-dollar market by 2030 due to large addressable markets across bonds, commodities, equities, real estate, and the M2 money supply. So 30.2% of tokenized assets by 2034, Standard Chartered. 16 trillion of tokens liquid assets by 2030, BCG. 5.2 trillion or 5 trillion of tokenized digital securities by 2030 is Citi. 2 trillion of tokenized digital securities by 2030, McKinsey and Company. According to various estimates, the value of tokenized securities could reach at least 2 trillion by 2030. Some of the world's largest companies are already experimenting with asset tokenization, with CME Group and Google recently partnering to explore how the Google Cloud Universal Ledger could improve capital market efficiency. Promethean CEO Aaron Kaplan recently told Cointelegraph that regulatory conditions in the United States are ripe for tokenization to really take off. The biggest gap to adoption is the lack of secondary markets for buying and selling tokenized assets. However, this could soon change as crypto-native companies and traditional brokerages compete for market share. That is, I thought that was a pretty good read. I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to see on that. So the crypto fear and greed index right now. Ooh, 19. That's pretty nice. Hey, Tom Shaw, Wall Street cheat sheet. What do you mean? I've looked. Yeah, I see the connection with Ondo. I've seen the connection for sure. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm just trying to figure out where these end up falling down to. That's the bottom line. I don't know. I don't know where the best time to buy that because I don't watch it all the time. I mean, I remember doing a chart on it not too long ago. The XRP ETP. So I mean, I wanted something newer. Let's see. I'm trying to go through everything everybody's saying, and I'm trying to find it all at once. Let's see. Fidelity. Okay, so this should help. So I'm trying to see what everybody was talking about, so I wanted to, let's see. No, this is nothing new. This is from before. Let's see. Well, I mean, looking at this, looks like it's on a big head and shoulders as well. That's probably not the right one, but I don't know. I'll do some deeper looking into that, but I'm running out of time here. It's already been 50 minutes. The bottom line is here, while we still have a few minutes left together here, because I want to go help Julie too with our son, because she's doing his feeding and he's getting tired, so it's getting towards his bedtime, so I definitely want to go help her here in a minute or two. Something's going to happen April 21st with Ripple XRP. Wall Street cheat sheet is a visual of where we are in market cycles. Gotcha. That makes sense. Did you ever play Elden Ring? Not yet. I have it. But right after I got it, I started doing my house, so I did not. TOSRF. Ticker. Yeah, I think everybody's starting to leave too, you know. 21 shares, XRP ETP. 52-week high was $97.50. Oh, yeah, that's definitely reset. Looks like a head and shoulders right now, unless it can pull back up. If it's a head and shoulders, it's going to come all the way back down sub 20. Well, no, not true. First layer would be around that 40 and then back down to 20 if it breaks down. Interesting. It's definitely been on a nice bearish downturn here recently, that's for sure. Not much to hang your hat on here tonight, huh? Right now, and it looks like we're going to close below that $1.82. I mean, it really does. I got one to keep an eye on it. Oh, and Axelar as well, as like somebody said as well. Yeah, good evening, or have a good night, everybody. Yeah, I got a little one to take care of as well, as somebody else said. So I'm going to go do what I got to do. I'm blessed and honored to have all of you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the support. Consider what I said about looking at BITUNIX so you don't have to pay the extraordinary fees. There's a link in the video description below and in my homepage and yada, 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 so on and so forth. But have a blessed evening, everybody, and we're going to do this again tomorrow. I love all of you.